Cathar Love 115. Catharism welcomes science. That may seem strange, but the plain fact is that religions generally, pretty much all of them, don't welcome science. In fact, they don't welcome change. They have their truths written up 2,000, 2,500, 1,500 years ago, whatever those truths are, and they want to stick to them. Catharism, contrary-wise, ever since it left the Balkans with the Bogomils, has been dynamic and changing, evolving, because from a Gnostic point of view, the only sin that there is the sin of ignorance, lack of knowledge. So, from a Gnostic and therefore Cathar point of view, to be knowledgeable about the past, knowledgeable about the present, and also knowledgeable about what is likely to happen in the future, also in the near future. And of course, to be knowledgeable, that must encompass science, as well as the arts, whatever, life in general. The previous video I spoke about we need to keep trust, to retain an innocence about ourselves, but that's not at the expense of knowledge. I consider myself a very trusting person. If I meet somebody, I trust them. I have no reason not to trust them. But do I trust politicians in general? No. The present batch that are in the USA? Definitely not. In Europe, some more than others. On the world scene, who will I trust? Not religious leaders, because they're caught up within the doctrines, the strictures, and they're manacled by their own faith. The Catholic Church has its dogmas. These are irreconcilable truths, and it means that a new Pope can't move away from those dogmas which have been promulgated by previous popes. There's lots of things he can do and can change, but he's caught within this. Others are caught within what's written in the good book. Catharism doesn't have a problem with that. In fact, it's got no books. Whatever they had was all destroyed by France when they invaded with the Crusaders and the Church. They are out to destroy every last vestige of the Cathars and what pertained to the Cathars and Catharism. But you can't keep a good thing down. So the Cathar philosophy, the Cathar ethos is back with us once again, and there's swags of books out now, mainly on history. With trusting, yes, I would say I trust Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. I trust Edward Snowden. Why? Well, whistleblowers in general, because to be a whistleblower, you're going out on a real limb with the possibility of even losing your life. There's lots of, it's not the healthiest career choice for anybody is to be a whistleblower on certainly the government or the dark side of the government. So these people, yes, as a group, they are trustworthy. They put their life on the line, and they're doing it. Well, Julian Assange, he thinks there should be complete freedom of the press, and there certainly isn't. With Snowden, of course, he just was upset with how all the information about all of us was literally going to the government without our knowledge, and all the other things that have come out. So I am trusting, and I'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt, but I like it if someone can show and have done something that makes them show, that demonstrates that they are trustworthy. From a Cathar point of view, knowledge is everything. So knowledge on who to trust is also very important. But more and more, and Catharism being allied with science, Cathar is on about goodness, kindness, unconditional love, the environment, everything, every rock, every tree, every flower, every person, every animal has a divine spark. Quite apart from the soul. And because of this, we need to respect. A Cathar needs to respect everything that has a divine spark, which in other words it means you respect everything. You respect the environment, you respect animals and nature, the planet. But the plain fact is that, and certainly in the United States, there are people, chemtrails. Now, you don't see anything written in the newspapers, or very little, if at all, about chemtrails. That's those crisscross patterns in the sky over South Carolina, Georgia, and it moved pretty much all over the United States and Canada as well. Now people have come out and they're saying they're trying to help climate change, affect the weather patterns, and we know what they are. We know they consist of nanoparticles, extremely small particles, of barium, aluminium and strontium, the oxides and sulfates. And they're spraying these, and this is also, it says that it's a defense shield against an attack. But the plain fact is, those powders eventually have to settle down on the earth or ocean somewhere. They're very small and they're made nanoparticles, so they'll stay in space. So at some point they've got to come down to our level where we breathe them in. Now we know, a lot. It's not hidden knowledge, but we know aluminium is one of the things that they find in people with dementia. Now, Dr. Blakely, who's very much into aluminium, but he was looking at it from the point of view when they use aluminium in vaccines, which they use it as to activate the vaccine, so the vaccine will stay active and it'll keep operating, and how that's aluminium is not good for us. It's a natural occurring substance, but with no it's toxic in the human body. Now we know people with dementia often have larger deposits of aluminium in the brain, and aluminium is one of those one of the downsides of aluminium is that when you breathe it in on the blood flow from the nasal passage, the aluminium can go through the membrane, the blood membrane, and into the brain. So within nanoparticles, which is even smaller still, there's an even greater access into the brain. Once aluminium is in the brain, it creates inflammation of the brain, and that creates downsides. And we have also, and this is not good for things like dementia, not good for anything as far as the brain is concerned. So there are whistleblowers coming out about that, and thank goodness for them. So Catharism is about knowledge. So we need knowledge about things which are hurtful to us, to you and to I, to you and to me, you and I, and our families, and especially the younger generation. So knowledge is a critical part, knowing is a critical part of Gnosticism and Catharism. The other aspect is goodness and love. And respecting everybody else, and including the environment. It's a simple fact, because studies, and there's quite a number of them now, but they know if you're in love, or you're loving, or you're happy, content, your brain is actually working at a higher frequency, positive frequency, which is good for you. It's good for the body, it's good for your health. Conversely, if one is angry, jealous, envious, hateful, all those negative qualities, you had the brain operating at a lower frequency, and those lower frequencies are, over a long term, harmful to the body. I did a video a long time ago, but it was about a Jewish guy who was in Wapperhaven. It was a German concentration camp. And what happened, he'd been there right throughout the entire war. And it's, I've got the book. It was written by an American doctor, but at that time he was a medico, and he was a nurse, a male nurse. And he arrived at this camp, and their job was to repatriate the survivors. And there's one guy there, he had an unpronounceable Jewish, Polish name, although he was Jewish. And so he called him Wild Bill Hickok, because he had this big drooping black moustache. But this guy was just chock-a-block full of energy. You couldn't knock him down with a pickaxe. And at 9 o'clock he'd say, okay, we'll knock off now. And he'd say, no, we'll just do one more. Just do one more. And so they processed one more person. And if any of them were feeling down, they'd turn to him, and he'd buck them up, cheer them up. So this guy, the guy who wrote the book, the American, thought, oh, he must have just arrived, he's in good health. His hair was black, not grey. He didn't show the signs of malnutrition like the others. He was in good nick. And so he thought he must have arrived just a month or so before the end of the war. And he was going through the papers, and he happened to come across his file, and lo and behold, what actually happened, he arrived in 1939. He had been incarcerated for the entire, basically 6 years. And he fronted him, and he said, what's your story? He said, I can't quite fathom how you can be here all that length of time, and yet you're in such a well, you've got such fitness and energy. So he said, look, he said, I was a lawyer. I spoke half a dozen languages. I was a linguist as well. And he said, I came back from work. I was in Warsaw, and the Germans had invaded at that time, and they'd lined up everybody in our apartment, men, women and children, and had machine guns to shoot them, kill them all. And he saw that. He said, I saw my family there, and I think it was his mother as well, his wife and 2 or 3 children. So he said, I knelt down and I pleaded with the German officer to let me die with my family. And they said, no, we know you. We know you've got to speak different languages. We've got work for you. Stand over there. And they wiped out 200 people, whatever the number was, including his family. While he was waiting there, and he saw what happened, he thought, as a lawyer, he's seen what hate has done to people and to families, destroyed families. So he said, at that point, he said, I felt I had the choice. I could either hate with all my heart or love unconditionally with all my heart. And he said, I chose to love unconditionally, irrespective of what happened. I would not judge the person for what happened, and I would love unconditionally. Well, the guy not only survived those 5 or 6 years in the concentration camp, full of energy, he didn't age. So it was the power, literally, of love. Now, if you want a cosmetic, try loving unjudgmentally, unconditionally. It ain't easy. And I'm still practicing. But the plain fact is, having things like a purity of heart, having honour, the fact that we all do naughty things at different times, and we've done things, but you don't cheat people, you don't knock people down, you need goodness about it. I was reading that you need to live your life in such a way that if someone said something bad about you, they wouldn't be believed. And that's the way, my ex-wife, we came back from a party once, and she said, John, she said, why do you act so crazy sometimes? She said, that was crazy, the things that you did at that party last night. I said, well, she said, well, what will people think of you? And I said, well, look, my friends know what I'm like. They know what I'm like as a person. The rest of the people, I don't really care. And I have to tell you a small story. It was a New Year's night, and I was at this friend's. They were Russian, and it was a stinking hot night. This is Australia, of course. And I thought, oh wow! And there was downstairs, and there's a woman there, and she said, I'm going to have a swim. And I said, oh okay, yeah, it's great. And it was about after midnight. It was just into the first hour of the new year. And she said, I live next door. And I said, oh, she said, I'm going for a swim. And she said, oh, okay. I said, oh, look, I'd love to. I said, so hot. I said, but I didn't bring in my swimming bathers or costume. Oh, she said, I'm not going to wear anything. And I said, oh, okay, that suits me. So we went into her place, took up our gear, dived into the pool, had a really good swim. So anyway, back at the other house, which was 2-story, had a patio, and the people came out, and they said, oh, look, there's people over there in the other pool, and they're having a swim, and they're swimming in the nude. And my ex-wife says, well, I know John's one of them. So that's not particularly crazy, but what I'm saying is that, I have my naughty moments. But that's nothing to do with goodness. Purity has nothing to do with the fact you can't get your gear off and go on a nude beach and so forth. Purity is having nothing to do with religion. It's just thinking, just really being decent, doing the right thing. I've been to war, been in a few. I fed the beast. But I can't say I ever did anything that I was ashamed of. And in fact, I think I did a number of things which I'm proud to say prevented things from happening where other people could have been doing the wrong things. And there are other times I just had no choice in the matter. So even as a soldier, you can be a good soldier. Not just a soldier, you can be a warrior. You know. This is using courage and honour and goodness, even in that profession. So but we have lawyers that lie in court and doctors that give out opiates willy-nilly. You know, people are so many of the people who are hooked on drugs often started through some form of pain. They were given opiates and that set them on a course of drugs. We have scientists. One scientist was saying, and he worked on the dark side, the dark government of the United States, which is all these black things, operations going on where secrecy and no one person, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and he is saying, you know, the science that is coming out now, and he said, with these people, he said, these are brilliant people, he said, but 10% of them are good people. He said 10% of them are really evil. They really don't care what damage they're doing to the people or the environment. And he said the 80% are just people just doing their job, don't thinking, just collecting their wages and the good money that they get. So that's how he explained what's going on. And he, of course, was a whistleblower. So harking back to the situation that Catharism welcomes science. It's not that it's just science, it welcomes knowledge, and that's knowledge about anything. But the most important knowledge we all need is knowledge about ourselves. And the plain fact is that when we live and as loving individuals, when we just music, if you're listening to music which is calming, often classical music, symphonic music, this is lifting you. Your brain is working at a higher frequency, has a calming effect, a distressing effect upon your body, and you know, this is good. But we need to know these things. When you've got this head banging music, dung 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 dung, and you've got all the noises and the noise pollution going out there, and they're going dung 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 dung. Well, you know, this is working at lower frequencies, and this is not good for your body, not good for your mind, not good for your consciousness. So Catharism, welcoming science, should really be that it not just welcomes knowledge, but it insists on the whole framework of Gnostic Catharism is based on knowledge and what we know, and also being prepared to change our minds or modify our views depending on what new knowledge comes to us, either through books, science, life experience. So we have this ability to change our mind. Sometimes we have to compromise, and sometimes we have to apologize. And talking about bravery, sometimes it's a very brave act indeed when one has to apologize. And sometimes one may have to apologize. It's really, someone said that sometimes when one apologizes, it means that you put more value on your friendship, the person you're apologising to, than your own ego. So, bye for now. Talk again soon. Hope all is going well with you. Bye.